Good to see you, mate.
Hello, JB.
A bit going on.
Yes, there is.
Sheepers.
Plenty happening. I don't think... Well, 3 weeks ago, we were all talking about how far the Demons, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Flag in the bag, Premiership dynasty, a bit like Geelong, Hawthorn, Richmond. But after...
more than that, Jay-Z, I mean, their ability to play footy, no one ever had any doubt about. But more than that I was in awe, if you like, of how well they'd kept it together.
Yes.
First flag in best part of 70 bloody years or 60, whatever it was, to then come out, win the games, but also behave the way they did and look as hungry as they did. You're looking at them going, this is incredible.
Yeah, it's a good point. However, there is a precursor for this. Remember Collingwood after 2010? Their first half of 2011, they were beating teams by a record margin. I think their average winning margin was about 60 points.
Yes.
Then injuries started to take hold and they fell off the cliff, and Geelong ended up getting in 2011, of course.
They did.
So it is hard, isn't it, to stay at the top of the mountain, Jim? But I don't think we ever forecast...
No, punching on.
So what happened at the Melbourne Premiership punch-on update?
Right, so there's about 7 or 8 of them around the table. Have you ever been there, Bill?
Entrecôte. The new one in Greville Street.
What did you have, the char-grilled octopus?
I just have steak and fries.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
one.
all you have. You can't go wrong there.
So they're all there to let their hair down a bit and take it a bit easy, sort of more your fringe-style operators rather than your...
not frontliners.
Not your Jack Viney sort of Max Gorn, because they wouldn't have put up with it, Jim and Bill.
That's right.
Because your man Frothies was on the Frothies.
Which he shouldn't have been after being
Stephen.
concussed.
We're calling him Stephen now. We've gone back to calling him.
Are we? He wasn't happy.
Well, he wasn't happy before. He's not going to be happy now. So
Right.
Stephen.
Okay. So Stephen was having a drink when he should have been. It's quite clear. Team rules. You're not when you're injured or your concussion protocols. But as the beers started to flow and the Grenache went down, Jim, started to get a little bit more heated and
There's
testy.
half the problem. You shouldn't be drinking.
Yes, and maybe at all. And maybe the lesson is out of this is
drink proper wine if you're going to go there. Bloody Grenache.
Nothing
Give me
wrong
a smell.
with a Tempranillo.
So what actually happened?
Melbeck, yes. So it goes around the table. Anyway, so Stephen May gets a bit heated, right? And the banter becomes a bit abusive, and then Jake Melksham steps in and, fair to say, says, Stephen, it's time to call in. Let's pull your head in. You're being a bit of a turkey, red rag to a bull. And then and things got escalated from there. I mean, there's talk about some tables being damaged. It spills out onto Greville Street, and that's where the teammates had to be separated.
Did Jakey take his shirt off?
I don't think that he took his shirt off, but he's handy.
No, we know he can go.
In the square circle, Bill.
And then just
went
went bang, bang.
And did. And then, so that was the end of the night. Jakey Melksham called Simon Goodwin straight away. I think Stephen May put in the call the next morning. The two big questions out of this for me. Has Stephen May lost any respect? And does it derail or does it bump the Melbourne ship off its premiership course? Do you look at him differently, Bill?
Well, no, I don't. But Melbourne have been ordinary without him, the general down back. They needed him this week because Collingwood are going beautifully, and they needed him this Monday, and he's not going to be there.
So he's let him down.
Yes.
Well, that's
He's let his teammates
so
down.
can we talk about respect and trust? Has he lost trust then?
I think...
Does he need to get off the frothies? I feel like you're the right man to ask.
The incident, but that was 10 years ago. So it's a long, long time ago. And I think
Campbell Brown, you're talking
with
about.
Campbell Brown.
Broke
That was
his jaw.
9 years ago. So we don't even worry about that. But I assume that when you're not playing, you shouldn't.
Yep.
I'm not a good bloke to talk about because I would have had a few beers myself. Yeah.
In 2022, Jay-Z, if you've been concussed in a game of footy and you're desperate to get yourself right to play the next week,
Pretty clear.
you're not drinking.
Correct.
So, no, you shouldn't be doing that. And Jake, for whatever happened with his side of it as well, you shouldn't be punching on at a restaurant in Paran.
No.
If your teammates.
How does he not get a week?
Well, and this is intriguing. It's a good question, Bill. But he was basically sticking up for his teammates and standing up to May, who was being an aggressor. So he still has to do the community service, but May is the one who has taken full responsibility here. He was being the turkey. As Jim said, he needed to pull his head
It doesn't
in.
look good in public, throwing punches.
Looks shocking, right?
terrible.
But what if we don't know the circuit? So what if May was on top of him, grabbing him by the throat? What if it was self-defense?
The other thing is the restaurant have said, what about an apology to our staff? And that's fair enough too.
Yeah, they weren't happy. I think the patrons were panicked at the time as the brawling
'cause the big
footballers
boys.
went bananas. Max Gawn said this morning that they have apologised and that they needed to. Max also said that they're going to have to patch this friendship up. They've got work to do. And he also talked about banter in a football club because everyone hangs it on each other.
Yep.
Yes.
Everyone takes the mickey out of each other.
Well, they used to. Not as much anymore.
You reckon they've wound it back?
Have you found that, Jim? In our day, that's all you do.
Oh, yeah,
You'd
there were
hang-
no barriers.
Oh, you'd hang-
In fact, the worse the banter, the
better.
But there's got to be respect attached to it.
Yes.
JC. As long as there's love and respect,
Yep.
then you'll put up with it if you know the person
Yes.
well enough. But if you step over the line of
Yes.
love and respect,
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah.
not what you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Herald Sun office at times gets a little bit funky, but we sort of.
Well, I think I've said about Triple M for years. At least we do it on air.
Oh, yeah. and to each other.
Exactly right.
Not behind the back. Oh, occasionally you say you're a bit chubby. What a good one say? What's Simon said?
No, he's got a press conference on Friday, and I think he'll say that they've got work to do as a footy team on the field and off the field because it doesn't meet their standards. He would say something like that. But is anyone becoming more? Anyone worry more about Melbourne?
Well, let's just have a look at the next month.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Descent.
Yes, so the umpires have unofficially changed the descent rule without telling anyone about it. So we're all up in arms in this. We all thought it was a bit of a farce anyway. So Jordan Nagoe, Harris Andrews puts their arms out. They give up a 50-metre penalty. It costs their team's goals. Well, Ray Chamberlain, so not Gil McLaughlin, but Ray Chamberlain, one of the whistleblowers, has confirmed that they have adjusted this rule and that now they will be giving players a bit more leeway in their frustration. So I think the hands-out thing now, Bill, won't incur a 50-metre penalty.
Well, they brought it in and no one knew about it. Now they're winding it back and no one knows.
Is it the worst rule in football in the past 10 years?
Could be. Could be up there. That first week when no one knew, the players didn't know, the supporters didn't know. That was a terrible week.
The arms out bit is the concern.
Yeah.
Language that's not appropriate towards an official on the ground.
Blow the whistle.
50 metres
We know
all
that,
day
yeah.
long,
Yeah.
and everyone. If they tighten that, then no one's got an issue. But
Yep.
the arms out bit was what everyone went. Hang on
Yeah.
a minute. This now doesn't look like a descent. It just looks like a player wondering what the hell happened.
So you just want the common sense application.
Well, and I think that sounds like
yeah, we've
what
got
they've
there.
done.
3
All right.
months in, we've got there.
Very good. All right, Kenny Hinckley's future, Bobby Hill, Dan McStay. Oh, I like Dan McStay.
Yeah.
I'm a list
Will
manager from Melbourne. I'm making some calls.
Will he stay or go?
Find out after the break.
More with Jay-Z Clark next on the Rush Hour. Triple M.
Kenny Hinckley, before we get to Dan
Yes.
McStay, where's his future?
He was strong in his press conference today, saying he's not entertaining any talk of going to GWS. But that's just your mate Kenny playing it straight back to the speculation. GWS, the CEO Dave Matthews there will absolutely put in that call and will know exactly where Ken Hinckley stands, because if they don't go for Alistair Clarkson, I think that Ken Hinckley is their best option. And there's a bit of water to play out under the bridge here in terms of whether Port Adelaide can make finals or whether they fall away. I think it will be very interesting. But Ken Hinckley would be a great choice for the GWS Giants. And if the Giants don't go for Clark, then he would be in demand. I don't reckon we give Ken Hinckley enough credit, Bill.
No, we don't. And I tell you what, he'd love to come back to Geelong, but Chris Scott signed on for another 2 years there.
Yes.
Spike McVeigh's going all right.
Yes.
He's got Solomon in there. He's got Hurdy doing a bit more.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that people are quite happy with him
Yeah.
there at the minute. But it's a results-driven game, as we know, so we'll see what happens there.
So Dan McStay,
Yep.
he is 26 years of age,
Yep.
145 games, 6'5", key forward.
Yep.
You
Marks
couldn't
it.
be
Hard
more
working.
in the sweet spot if you wanted to be.
Yep.
And he wants to come back.
You'd love to have him. He can play both ends of the ground, and the interest is significant. So,
Melbourne boy, is he?
Yeah,
I think originally Eastern Rangers.
Eastern
Yep.
Rangers.
Righto. Yeah.
So we're looking squarely at Collingwood, Melbourne, the Western Bulldogs, even Fremantle. And Brisbane has been spooked by the interest. So Brisbane, who initially offered, and maybe they misread the play 6 months ago, because it was only a 3-year deal on the table initially.
But they had Danaher and
Hipwood,
yes.
Fullerton, McInerney as well.
No, just stop at Danaher
Okay,
and
all right.
Hipwood.
A key forward. So it was only a 3-year deal. Now they've gone to a 5-year deal. So there is some chance. They're saying that that McStay could stay. However, I think that there is a $600,000 5-year deal on the table for Dan McStay.
At Brisbane or to leave?
To leave. Yeah.
I reckon he'll get more than that.
You reckon more than
Oh, yeah.
600?
If he holds the line and doesn't do anything and keeps playing well,
Yep.
I reckon there's more. Because you look at, Melbourne are a great example.
Yep.
And this is the best team in the comp.
Yep.
They can't get their forward half right. But Freo you put a decent forward
Yeah.
in front of what they got going,
Oh.
Yep.
then they are in real good shape. So you can't find one that's played 145 games and he's 26.
Ready to go.
No, you can draft them, but then, as you know, Fat, you got to then put 4 or 5 years
Another
into
4
them.
or 5 years. So you're right. You're spot on what you're saying. Or Tex and Walker and them are too old. So he's
in good shape.
cherry ripe position.
And as a free agent, you get him for a free hit. You don't have to part away with a top draft pick. You just get him in under the salary. Looking squarely at Collingwood here, because remember they missed out on Tom Lynch. You went to Richmond a few years ago. They got Nathan Kruger and Mason Cox. I'm not sure. Cox was very quiet at the weekend.
Darcy's a good player.
Yeah, but what is he, 30, 31?
know,
So he's getting on. So I think McStay is certainly in Collingwood's frame.
Sam Durden,
Yes.
cast away by North Melbourne after being drafted in the first round, I think, from memory.
My check's 29.
29. Gone back to Adelaide to play for Glenelg, played well.
Yes.
And now he's on the list at the Blues.
They've drafted him in basically as a ready-to-go option. Jacob Wiedering out for 6 weeks with that shoulder. I don't think he's in the team to play Essendon tomorrow night. So I don't think he's going to get catapulted straight in there. They're going for Plowman, Lewis and Marchbank, who's playing his first game.
Yes, that's a good story.
1,000 days.
3 years or something.
You saw the scenes at training this week. It was outstanding. And another tick for Michael Vox. So I don't think Durden is going to come straight in. I think he will get his chance soon enough. At Essendon, you have a look. Jake Stringer, I think, has got to train.
Is there 2 Sam Durdens, by the way, playing in the comp?
No, that's Corey.
Corey Durden.
Oh, you're
Same
thinking of
surname.
Sam Durham.
Right, I knew there was something. Yep. Keep going with
No,
Jake.
completely different person. Yeah.
Jakey Stringer's going to press his case to play back from a hamstring. I think he's going to train tomorrow. Kyle Langford, the Bombers were hopeful he was going to play.
This is a man who exited the ground with a severed hamstring on his own.
Walked to hospital. He did. No one. No
Round one, you were there,
trainer
Jay.
comes
He
up, no
just
runner.
got up and
Geelong
walked
and
off
Essendon, yes.
without a person going anywhere near
No
him.
one went.
But drove himself to hospital, booked himself a scan.
And the doctor didn't even turn up.
Wasn't even there.
Had to have his own X-rays.
It was the most extraordinary
Is he
thing I've
going to
ever
play?
seen.
Is he?
No, I don't think he's going to miss. I
Has
think
anyone
he's going to
picked
miss.
him up from the hospital?
Well, I think Jake Stringer is in the frame. Hey, can we talk about Mitch Lewis for a sec?
Before
Speaking
we
of-
finish on that,
Yes.
that's a big night for the Bombers. That's their 150th celebration.
Yes.
Yes.
My understanding is some big names
They're
are
all
coming
coming.
back,
So?
including the perhaps biggest. Might also stick his head in, is what I
At
hear.
Essendon.
And it might be the first
Remus.
time we've seen him for a long time.
James Hird back at the club.
That's what I might
So
just
they'll come
might
out
happen.
fired up, won't they?
You would hope so.
Carlton, Friday night. Wow.
Oh,
Stand
yeah,
by.
Big game.
They got a
Big
big
game.
gala dinner on Saturday night, I think. So it's a big Friday night.
Massive club, of course. All right, Mitch
Saturday
Lewis.
night. Mitch Lewis. So he's someone who's held off on his contract talks. We speak about paydays for players. He is going to get a big one. He might have been $350,000 a year. We're still sort of carving his way. He was being dropped. He's been very good for the Brown and Gold
Bloody
this
oath.
year.
Bloody
Now
oath, yes.
we talk about McStay, $600,000 a year. I think Mitch Lewis is one who's going to be sort of 550. He's out of contract this year, so he's one that the Hawks
They won't want to lose him.
don't have to tie up. You can, and in this from a context perspective, you can probably write his own ticket a little bit.
Have you heard about the incentive North Melbourne are giving their supporters?
Oh, this is the fourth time he's
North
gone with it.
Melbourne playing
And
the
we've had
Giants.
50 minutes on air.
No. Have you heard what they're doing?
No, you tell me, Bill.
They're giving their supporters something. Have you heard?
Like a burger or something? Like
No,
a free
a pie.
a beer?
They're giving a pie, yeah.
A $2 pie.
Yes.
What if they
Jay-Z?
win?
Bobby,
you get
before
another
we
one. You
go,
get the sauce
I'm
if
not
they
just
win.
going to shut him up. Bobby Hill.
Oh, yes. So a testicular cancer similar to Ben Cunnington and Sam Doherty, Sam Rowe, Carlton, St Kilda. He has had his operation. It has gone well. So that is fantastic news for him. There is no time frame set for when he will return, but very silky midfielder forward, progressing well, in good spirits, Jim and Bill. So it'll be great to see him back out on the park.
That is a comprehensive wrap, Jay-Z. Well
Yes.
A pie.
Thanks, boys.
You can hear Jay-Z on Dead Set Legends on Triple M Melbourne and on the Listener app on Saturday mornings.
Going well, that show.
It's the Rush Hour, Triple M.